Here I sit in a 2013 Mustang GT that has a VMP supercharger on it. Why am I telling you about the supercharger? Because the supercharger forces more air into the engine in order to make more combustion. For you and I who love cars, combustion is kind of all that we know until fairly recently. I've seen quite a few things that have got me thinking about the combustion engine and how many of us are scared of anything else than that sound. So let's talk about it. There's nothing quite like rowing through the gears of your favorite sports car. Favorite car in general, shoot, maybe your Corolla to get to work has a manual, if that's a thing anymore. Manual transmission is a topic all on its own, which I could do an entire video about, but I'd rather focus on kind of the elephant in the room right now. This past weekend was one of my favorite events in the car world, and that is Formula Drift Atlanta. And at Formula Drift Atlanta, I saw something I never thought I would ever see in person. I saw the Camaro EL1, they call it. It was an electric Pro 1 Formula Drift car. And it was one of the strangest experiences I've ever had, witnessing this thing rip down the track at 90 miles an hour and just tire noise. And it was such a weird experience because the guy he was going against was Chelsea DeNova. And Chelsea DeNova having the screaming Roush Yates engine in his Ford Mustang that's all carbon fiber and all, crazied out. And hearing Chelsea DeNova's engine roar as this Camaro tandem next to him, completely silent, it sounded like one car was competing and the other one was invisible. You would never know that the other car was competing if you had your eyes closed. And I heard murmurs around me, and I heard people booing around me. And as I heard people boo and shout, and also some people saying, "I'm worried," hearing concerns about the future of our culture, the future of the car community. And a few days before Formula Drift, I drove the brand new Supra. Now, how is the new Supra relevant to what we're talking about today? Some of the Toyota execs have admitted that the Supra is probably going to be Toyota's last developed sports car using combustion. That's a big deal. That's crazy. And it's also why the new Supra had some decisions a lot of people didn't like, using the BMW drivetrain and all that. But that was because Toyota basically said, this is your last chance to bring the Supra back. Take it or leave it. And that's mostly because of the combustion technology. Areas of the world are starting in talks to completely ban the production of gasoline cars in the future, maybe within the next 10 to 15 years. That's crazy. Are the electric cars something to be scared of? I don't know if scared is the right word. I think uncertainty is the right word. As I saw the Camaro go down the track, another thing that came to my mind was this company from China, I believe called NIO, did one of the fastest Nürburgring lap times ever in their electric sports car. With no lag from turbos, no lag from combustion or gear shifting. And if you think about it from a performance standard, electric does open the door to a lot. You're not having to shift as much, which takes away some of the experience, I understand that. Then you're gonna do faster lap times. Think about when you get in one of those electric go-karts at like a K1 speed, for example. Some people go in there going, no, I'm used to gas carts. No, we can't do that. At the end of the day, they go, wow, this is great because I have instant power. The carts are all consistent. One isn't so much of a dud compared to the other. So could that mindset be applied to cars? And I honestly think the answer is yes. Motor Trend a while back did a video comparison between the Tesla P100D against the Audi RS7. kind of an unlikely matchup if you think about it. And a lot of people ask me, David, if you could only have one car for the rest of your life, what would it be? And the Audi RS7 is one of those cars that it's up there on the list. It's one of the best cars all around I've ever driven. It's fast, it's a four-door, it's comfortable, it's pristine. And during Adventure Drive 2016, I spent hours and hours and hours in this car without breaking a sweat, while also pulling on a McLaren 12C. That was ridiculous. However, Motor Trend drives this Tesla, and they say it's so fast that it's borderline unpleasant. As you guys know, I've driven a ton of fast cars, many over 1,000 horsepower. None of them I can say was unpleasant. I mean, the P100D does 2.2 seconds to 60 miles an hour, and it's a four-door. There's one car in the future I want to talk about. If the Tesla Roadster delivers on what Tesla says, that car is going to change the entire world. It is going to change everyone's perspective on performance. They claim it will probably do sub 2 second 0 to 60 in a production car. For perspective, that's the exact same 0 to 60 of when I rode with Ken Block in his GRC car in 2015. A fully gutted race car. Veyron couldn't do that. The Chiron couldn't do that. Not even one of my favorite car companies, Koenigsegg, claims that they can do that. What is going to be so scary about electric cars if the performance is going to be better on paper? Well, this is where people argue the soul of the car. Are the Teslas going to be one-trick ponies? Are electric sports cars going to be one-trick ponies? As in, whoa, we accelerated really fast, that was it. The noisier car is slower. Does that make it more enjoyable to drive? Well, evidence has shown cars like the Miata, the FRS, cars that are very slow, in my opinion, are very fun to drive, and they make noise. But does that mean that the masses of the car community would trade in their Miata for something that's literally, say, 5 times as fast if it's silent? I don't know. Time is going to tell with electric cars. I personally, though, am not afraid of the electric car industry. I know that seems almost contradictory to my entire career because I drive modified combustion vehicles. That's typically what I do. There is one thing, though, that's going to be completely different in the auto world, and that is the aftermarket. Guys, we're not going to need to supercharge things. We're not going to need to turbo things anymore. We're not going to have the blow-off noises because forced induction is not going to be needed. We're not going to have to go upgrade our exhaust. We're not going to upgrade our intakes. We're not going to do any of that. That's weird. Instead, we're going to upgrade battery packs or download an update over Wi-Fi to make our cars different. Just like when the autopilot, it's not quite autopilot, but it's pretty freaking good for what it is. That was a downloaded update during beta testing. They had the technology built into the car, but nobody knew really. That blew my mind. We downloaded something to completely change the car. It's like downloading a firmware update for a tuning software or even a camera or something. It's strange. Instead of freaking updating your Windows or your Apple Mac, you're updating your car. That is so crazy to me. I truly do not think, though, that combustion cars are going to go away forever in our lifetime. I say that not really knowing the future, but I really don't think it's going to happen. Oil, fuel, all those big brands, they're going to do what they can to stick around, and that's a fact. It's going to be a long road ahead for the electric car industry to basically dethrone the gas industry. Plus, the electric infrastructure just isn't there yet. That's my number one thing that hasn't quite sold me on having an electric car all the time is long road trips. We still do not have the infrastructure to do consistent long road trips in Teslas. Sure, California, a few other places, they all have supercharging stations where it takes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes to charge, but it's not a gas pump. It's not that 2-minute ordeal where you swipe your card and bam, you're done and you're gone. Convenience is still there with the gas stuff. Convenience is still there with combustion. And there's so many jobs of taking care of these cars because combustion engines have thousands of parts that all need to be maintained. Meanwhile, though, on the electric side, less moving parts, less things to fix. Think about having a car that is pretty much guaranteed to almost never break. That is a tall order as well. The enthusiasts are the people who are going to be hanging on by the pinky whenever that ends. But combustion cars, I think, are going to be a novelty. I think the combustion car is going to be the record player of the car industry. I truly think that's how it's going to kind of be. Drag racing, drifting, all that kind of stuff. I won't be surprised if that's combustion the rest of my life. Well, not at all. When it comes to commuting, when it comes to driving around, I don't know, man. I just don't know. I mean, imagine not having to put a car in a dyno just for tuning purposes. That's weird to think about. I've had tons of people the past year especially ask me what I think about the electric car industry and if I'm worried about it. And that's kind of my thoughts. That's my answer on that question. But before we move on with the next segment, what do you guys think about the electric car industry? I truly believe there's going to be a golden age of performance in the electric car world. I really do think we're going to see the fastest cars ever made. On that note, guys, let's move on to our Q&A, which is brought to you by Patterson Car Care. Patterson Car Care is my detail brand with no relabeled products with our own formula. We have actually recently started selling gallons of everything, so it's super affordable. It's double the premium product for half the price as everybody else, and I promise you the stuff is killer. We especially focus on our wheel cleaner, which is incredibly easy to use, so give it a try at www.pattersoncarcare.com. Joseph asks, would you ever wide body a car? I don't know. The wide body thing, I'm more into like the molded wide bodies than the riveted stuff. I'm really over the riveted stuff because I go to SEMA almost every year, and that's like all you see is like bolt-on fender flares and big wheels and all that. So I don't know. It's just not quite my thing. I would do over fenders, you know, just to kind of give me more tire. But when it comes to like the full wide body with the rivets, not a fan. Well, Sell My Soul for a Hellcat asks, what would I do differently had I started my YouTube channel again? Honestly, I don't know. If I were to go back, it'd be really hard to say what I would do differently because I feel like I've been fortunate enough to do well, and I guess you could say almost nothing. It is hard for me to have that mindset because YouTube has changed so much. So would I change my format? Would I do more daily rather than caring more about quality? I just don't know. I personally enjoy having a product I'm happy with when I deploy it, you know, when I upload it, and if it has any kind of quality whatsoever, or I'm super proud of it, that's way more rewarding than basically getting more views and making more money, if that makes sense. It's pretty hard for me to edit something I'm not proud of and take the time. Like, for example, the Supra video I just put out, that took 12 hours straight of editing for reference. Ethan asks, what car is gorgeous as a coupe, but not so gorgeous as a convertible? Y'all might hate me. I'm gonna say the 350Z. I think the 350Z convertible is pretty atrocious. It's because it just looks kind of incomplete. If you look at the back of it, it's just an egg, like the Z, but then it's this very abrupt 90-degree angle for the top. So that's my answer. It's the first one that comes to mind. But yeah, it's just so abrupt at the top. It's just, gross. And last question, ironically, is would you own an EV? Honestly, as a daily driver around town and I didn't have to go that far, I could see myself owning like a P100D or something, but they're just too expensive for my taste. Yeah, that's about it. I'd much rather kind of be in the glory days of combustion right now, if you know what I'm saying. On that note, guys, that's what I have for you guys today. What do you guys think about everything we talked about? If there's any more questions you'd like to ask, make sure to go to ThatDudeinBlue on Twitter. Also post on my Instagram all the time, so make sure to follow that as well. And I'll see you guys next time, and take it easy. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for watching.